Let me start by saying this. Everyone's situation is different. This is not going to be a one-size-fits-all or a must-do list prior to investing, because we recognize that everyone's situation is different and there are a lot of nuances to everyone's circumstances. That is why we are partnering with our friends at Walkthrough, who do just that. They help walk you through your unique situation. They are a registered investment advisor with the SEC who provide personalized financial advice. And they are a lot like a human financial advisor, except way cheaper and focused on making sure that you actually understand what's going on. Check them out at www.walkthrough.co. Walkthrough can also build you a personalized financial plan for free, and you can text them any questions that you have and have a financial expert send you a response, which is also free. In this video, we will discuss some key considerations to make when you're thinking about investing. At Denary, we're Ivy League trained and passionate about financial literacy. We have your back on all things finance and ultimately want you to have the tools to reach your financial goals. Quick disclaimer, this is not legal, tax, accounting, investment, nor other professional advice. Consult an advisor and do your own research for your individual situation. Or if you don't currently have an advisor, consider looking at Walkthrough's free expert resources to get started. Let's dig in. Investing is one way to use money to make more money. That means you need to have money you aren't using. If you don't have any savings or extra money, that's what you should focus on first. Many people call this a rainy day fund, and most people recommend that a person has at least 1 month of expenses saved for an emergency. Then, depending on the details of the terms, they should think about taking advantage of a 401k match, if available, and paying down any high interest debt. After that, the recommendation is to work towards a 3-month emergency fund prior to investing. This can be a really hard thing to do, and if you don't have this, you're not alone. According to Bankrate's annual emergency fund report, 68% of people are worried that they wouldn't be able to cover their living expenses for just 1 month if they lost their primary source of income. And when push comes to shove, the majority of US adults are currently unable to afford a $1,000 emergency expense. So if this feels really challenging, start with small sums of savings so that you have something in case of an emergency before you start investing. The power and challenge of compound interest. We've all heard the word compound interest, and what most people reference is the positive power of compound interest, which is true if you're saving money. But it can be devastating when you're borrowing money and not fully paying down that debt. A quick way to understand compound interest is the interest on interest. Investor.gov has a fantastic compound interest calculator and a great visualization. So let's imagine that you have $10,000 that you set aside and you invest it. You're able to get 5% interest on that investment per year. In year 1, you get $500 of interest and your total is $10,500. In year 2, you don't pull any money out of the account, so you begin reaping the benefits of compound interest because now you get 5% on the total sum of $10,500, so you get $525 of interest. Your total is $11,025. In 10 years, without adding any new money, your new total is over $16,000. Now, let's look at the crippling effect of compound interest when you take on debt. Let's use credit cards as an example. Imagine that you have a credit card and you begin carrying a $1,000 balance. That means that you charge $1,000 on your credit card, and 1 month later, you don't pay off the full $1,000 that you borrowed. You carry the $1,000 as a balance. Next, check the fine print of your credit card to look up how much interest you would be charged. This is called the annual percentage rate, APR. So let's say your APR is 20%. By the way, the range for credit cards is about 15 to 25%. This rate is compounded daily. In month 1, you make a minimum payment of $27 and you continue making only the minimum payments. This means it's going to take you 5 years to pay off this debt. Experian has a very helpful credit card payoff calculator, which can serve as a compound interest calculator, but in the context of thinking about debt. Now, you can see how not only it will take you 5 years to pay off this debt, but now you've also paid over 50% of interest payments based on your initial $1,000 loan, when only you're paying the minimum for that loan. This is an extra $500 out of your pocket, and that is exactly how compound interest can work against you. Thinking through debt and investing. Why do we bring all of this up? Well, if you carry any debt with an interest rate that's greater than 6%, you may want to consider paying that debt off first before investing. Why 6% when stocks and bond portfolios historically return around 9%? Well, because investing has risk. On the other hand, debt is guaranteed return. So accepting a little less than investing return makes sense. You can pick a different break-even point if you ask yourself, what guaranteed return would I take instead of investing money in the stock market? And 6% is a good starting point to build up your intuition on this question. Definitely consider taking advantage of 401k matches. Finally, not everyone works for an employer that offers a 401k match, but we do recommend taking advantage of this benefit if you have it, as this is free money from your employer. It's worth mentioning that depending on the type of employer you have, you might have different acronyms. For example, 401k, 403b, or TSP. They're all basically the same type of employer-sponsored account, and this is advice that generally should work for all of them. You get to invest the money and put it into 401k and the match you get. So it's almost always better to get your 401k match and invest all of it instead of just investing yourself. In a future video, we will go into more depth about the types of investing accounts that you can use, but you can think of a 401k as an investing type of account that many American employers offer that has a better tax treatment. And typically, this means that each employee who signs up for a 401k agrees to have a percentage of each paycheck paid directly into an investment account. The employer may match part or all of that contribution. So if this is a benefit that's available to you, we recommend setting this up at work and taking advantage of this benefit. Complexity of situation. We started this video by acknowledging the complexity of an individual person. So you might be saying, my situation is a little unique or complex. And that is why we recommend seeking advice from a certified professional or a company like Walkthrough. They can help you figure out the nuances of your situation and advise accordingly. We have an upcoming video that will go into depth on all the different types of investing accounts, like 401ks, HSAs, IRAs, and more. And we will be talking about these accounts in much greater detail, so please let us know in the comments what questions you have. Are there any types of investing accounts that you want to know more about?